Hey y'all. Happy Saturday afternoon. It's my birthday month, so I love October. Fall. Yes. Fall. Speaking of falling. Spy falling. Spy. So this time I decided to just leave the broadening formations up. So kind of get into what I'm seeing here. As you can see, we're forming a shooter on the month, but we're still inside. So it's not really doing much there. But we do have a 2 up with the shooter. So remains to be seen if we're going to take these folks out here and create a new low. But then we're at the bottom of the broadening formation. So, kind of see where we're going to go from there. Looking at it on the quarter, well, you can't really see it because it's broadening formation, but this is a wick. So, this is a shooter that could go in force and, bring us down. When you look at it on the month, if it breaks this and continues down, we do have a range before the next monthly target, really. So, and then, remember on the day, when we scroll way back, we do still have a gap that we could possibly go for. It's a little tiny gap that, it's not really a big thing, but it's just things we want to keep in mind. But the shooter, lets us know that all we really did was just take these folks out and then come right back in. Basically, just went to the top of the broadening formation. This same downtrend resistance line, it kind of broke through. I adjusted it a little bit. It was like this right here, and it kind of broke through, but then came back down. So I just, moved it up some, but you can still kind of see the channel that we're going in. It's just down. We're just having corrective activity and then going back down. And this is looking like it's about to finish it off. So that's SPY. Yeah, we still have a couple folks to take out. So it's interesting to see what we'll do next week. We do have a setup here for a rev strat, but we would just have to see. It would need to break this 373, and then it'll probably get slammed here. But then it could also push. So you see the top of where, this will be our next solid resistance right here at 380. Well, the same resistance. And then if we were to finally break that 380, we probably get to maybe this 388. But you can see how it's going down, because last week, we were talking about, it can maybe get to 395. But as it's going down, the resistance is also going down. So this would be the first one, second, and third. And then you see our supports. So the Qs look similar. So uglier shooter, but it's the same thing with this, magnitude. If you take this bottom of this broadening formation, do we extend and start going for these stops over here? Same thing on the week. We have that shooter. There's no gap on the Qs though, but you can also see the same kind of pattern of the coming down, the corrective activity, corrective activity, corrective activity. That was even more. So that was just, first few days of the quarter, buying just stepped in. But then once we hit the top of the broadening formation, we just really couldn't break through that. So it did a classic H, like I talk about, at H. So it remains to be seen if we take these folks out and then try to continue lower. Same thing as far as the shooter on the quarter. It's a solid support there, so it's just breaking that to see if we start making our way towards these targets down here. So small caps, same inside month, not a whole lot of magnitude there, but then to see if we break through that and start going for these. I posted on Twitter, there's a lot of shooters on the week, so it's letting us know we had that corrective activity, came back in, and we can't really break these downtrend resistance lines on the day. So just think about that, when we see these massive runs, because I believe this was, well, it's not like spot, but still, it was like, it was a $10 run in 2 days. It's corrective activity. So you can expect, especially seeing that it can't bust through this broadening formation. It's, tried here, could barely make it there, rejected there. That's a good sign that, we're going to continue down. And then also, once you've come down and gone up, that's the potential for the H, especially when you're in a downtrend. So, and then XLE, because we've just been watching energy. Y'all know it was strong because Zon was doing its thing. But as we can see, it still has, it's not quite enforced, but it can still go and continue. Full time frame continuity hasn't really come in yet. It will do that Tuesday at 10:30. But if it continues, then we can expect for it to come and try to take these folks out here. Kind of see where it is on the broadening formation. Nice bounce. So we could target the top of that. Take these folks out here. Maybe even it's a gap right there. It's a gap on the week. So yeah. So yeah, you can see this actually may have a little more, although it has taken these folks out and it's far away from the EMA, so it may need to come and rest a little bit before it finishes. So yeah, that's XLE. And then the VIX, because we want to kind of keep track of what that's doing. It's inside month so far, but yeah, this is the downtrend resistance that I have for the VIX. We want to keep watch with this because, when the VIX is going down, SPY is going up and vice versa. So this is, you can't see this because it's broadening formation. It's broadening formation on the day, but this is, it's a red hammer, but it's a hammer on the week. So if those shooters that we've looked at go in force, then we can look for this hammer to go in force to the upside. The reason why you saw those lines like that was because of this broadening formation, where it's at, VIX has come down and done this. So now that we've made this lower low here, we could possibly look to make this higher high, which would bring the market down. So things to be aware of. Consequently, this, even though it says it's not an actionable signal and it ended strong, if it did reverse, that would be a 2 down. So, it could decide to do that and then whatever. So, just so y'all are aware where the VIX is at. Always going to look at Apple. Apple, I thought this chart was just really funny because it's like in midair. It's really in midair. That was a serious gap down. So, and it ended very strong. So, looking at it on the week, same thing as the shooter. Just going to see if this goes in force and decides to continue, or if it has, some corrective activity, since we did gap down, and how Apple likes to do on a Monday. Looking at that on the 4-hour, it could decide to do that, to correct. But yeah, on the month. And then remember that Apple is still in force on the year for the 50% rule. So, as long as it stays under 149, we're looking for that 116. And it's really interesting because you know, when they came out the gate, Apple doing this thing on a Monday, and then it kept going. The bears defended that outside target. So, I mean, that outside trigger. So it stayed under there. So as long as you know that it stayed under there, it's still in force for it to continue down. So it's the downtrend resistance we have with Apple. And what we, you know, can see if it goes and continues to take these folks out or how it moves. But yeah, I thought this was really interesting. It's hanging in midair. And Microsoft is doing the same thing. You know, these move the Qs and SPY, so kind of want to know where they are. It's the same thing, obviously, you know, tried to break through this resistance and it couldn't and came back down. So took these folks out. Will it continue? Looking at it on the month. Same thing. So do we take these folks out and, you know, start going for here, or we'll see Tuesday we uncouple. So, you know, these quarters start going in force, then, you know, that they'll start really moving to the downside. So, yeah. And then Amazon, this is like the third biggest thing in SPY in the Qs. So I just thought I'd put it up here real quick. Looks similar to everything else. You know, if we break through here, then we can start targeting these folks down here. So looking at that on the month. You know. Yep. And so snow, now I thought snow was in an interesting place because it tried to trigger the outside month to the upside, but you know, it's been weak with everything else. And you know, we've been keeping watch of this. We talked about it last week to see if it would trigger to the downside, and you know, it did that, the classic 50%. So, you know, looking at it on the week, it actually was a great trade this week, well, this past week, because it did this 2 down, 2 up, and did an outside week, and then, you know, did a nice little reversal there. So looking at it on the day, it honestly looks like it's gonna come back out, especially since it closed under the 8 and the 20 on the day. But it could, you know, it's kind of hard to tell. Kind of ended like right here. Not quite a doji, but sort of kind of. But if it does decide to come down, you know, we do have a range right here to take out. And on this week, it may take a few weeks to do it, but it can definitely come down. Especially if it triggers that monthly. So still watching snow. Wanted to mention cost because Rob actually mentioned this on his video, and y'all should watch the video if y'all don't or haven't, just because he sometimes gives plays that you can look out for. And so, you know, cost, we're just looking, it looks bearish to me. So we're looking to see if they're going to take out these folks. That's a nice range right there. Cost is a little expensive, so, but yeah, for my folks that can handle this, cost looks like it's going to finish this H. So you can target these folks to take out, and it may need some time, but it looks good. And then Walmart. Click on it. There we go. It has triggered the monthly just barely. Just barely. It actually closed a little bit above it, but just looking to see if this is going to start coming down. It's a 3 on the week, and basically just, you know, it would be a 3-2 continuation, and then that continuation would be the monthly trigger. So for this to come down and start taking these folks out. And as you can see, it's the resistance cannot make a higher high. So yeah, looking forward to break this and come on down. And then I wanted to go over the monthly setups that we did last week, just to kind of give an update. As you see, TTD hasn't really done much of anything. Again, this was a good, like, if you day traded it, it's a great drop on Friday. It's still coming down towards this gap. Oh, it almost filled it. Not quite. But yeah, it's still kind of stuck up in this range, but it's looking like it's finally trying to break down and come for these folks. So looking for that to break down. Plug has triggered and is in force. So that is actually still good. On the week, be a 2-2. So still going for this gap fill. It's kind of like slowly melting, but you can also see a pattern here, it coming away from the EMA. If you see it come back up to test it, then that'll be a good entry on a reversal from there. So this 2 up, 2 down, reversal back into going for the gap. This actually, yeah, might see it try to come back up there. It can short it again to come down to the gap. And we already talked about Walmart. Oxy is kind of similar to XLE, but usually you pick one that you like. I've been playing Zom a little bit more, but we just had this on the list, so just update. As you can see, it triggered, but it came back in, but it still has more room. So if it gets back above this 71-ish area, then it can go back for this monthly high, 77. And then coin is still inside. It's not doing anything. So I have to see if this breaks this support and see if it can come down. And they'll possibly make new lows. This might be Dash 2.0 because I just realized Dash is at like $45, which is crazy. And CVS, yeah, we missed this one because basically it tanked the same way AMD tanked. So this already basically took out these targets. So, yeah. You could, if it decides to continue, 3-2 and keep going. But it's definitely falling a lot. We'll be on that gap down list, hanging in midair. So, Starbucks, again, not doing a whole lot. Inside month still. Came back in, so yeah, it's kind of stuck in here. Target, same. So, see the rejection here, though. We could possibly do it with the shooter. 2 up, 2 down. Then it maybe can break the support and go out for these folks. So that may actually be a good play next week. Look at this on the day. It had its corrective activity. Closed under the 8 and the 20. So yeah. I may decide to finally go depending on how much we puke. And then net, we're looking at is close to triggering. I've been actually watching this for a couple of weeks now. It's just been doing that. But yeah, it's close to triggering. It may finally trigger and come on down. It's kind of doing a slow grind down. But it's making lower highs. It's kind of respecting these EMAs too. And then lastly, I have Airbnb. That update, we were trying to see if it was going 3-2. It's not really doing anything, so come on. Possible rev strat on the week. And then if it does and takes these folks out and decides to melt, then yeah, it may trigger this monthly 3-2. This looks on a 2-week. Ooh. So guys, we do also have a new 2-week candle starting tomorrow. So this could be a 3-1, 2 down on the 2-week. Of course, keeping in mind it's 2 weeks, so you would need to give it that much time to do what it needs to do. Just run back through these real quick on the 2-week. So they're inside. That would be 3-2-2. It's not actionable. 3-2-2. 3-1-2. Be a 3-2 up. 3-2-2. That would just be a 2 continuation, but I mean, it took these folks out and didn't come back in, so we're looking to go here. Honestly, before it would find support. And then 3-2-2. So yeah, shout out to Alpha Pack for that 2-week chart thing, because I like it. I do like it, especially looking at it when, you know, the new one forms. I don't look at it that often, but I do like to look at it when the new one forms to kind of see if it'll go hand in hand with the monthlies that we're looking at. So that's all I have, you guys. I'm going to check the chat real quick, but Kate, what's up? You got any that you want us to look at?
We could look at QCOM. We kind of went over some I already had on my watch list already, but we could look at QCOM.
Okay. Oop.
So I was actually looking at this at the beginning of the week. You know, with work and everything like that, we kind of missed the drop, but it also has a gap to fill that I just noticed this morning. I think on the daily you could see it.
Is it? Oh yeah.
A mini gap, yeah, it's not that big, but
it's from 118
I'm watching to see if you get another 2 down and fill the gap. I wish I saw that at the beginning of the week, but yeah.
Right, because actually
and
this
is play on the shooter, yeah.
And on the week, yeah. Wait, let's see. It's on the month. So 1, 2, okay.
Hold on.
The shooter to go in force. Just looking at how much downside this could possibly have. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I like this for this gap fill, and then if it continues.
And it's not too far from the quarter really either to take out that quarter low as well.
This
could definitely do it.
Which is that? Yep. Oh, I like QCOM. It's nice corrective activity.
So get a red week. Should be able to take it out.
Let me put that on the homework list. Yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Which is crazy because it's in the same sector as AMD and NVIDIA, but it didn't, like, I guess, fall like the rest of them. So.
Right.
But it definitely looks good for more downside. So, yeah. I like it. I like it. Let me look at this 4-hour. Oh, that's beautiful. Yep, sounds good to me.
Let me see what else I got. I've been looking at CRM, of course. as per usual.
CRM Bay.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, you've been gapping a
I just
lot.
feel like it's not moving how it used to move. It's kind of moving really slow, but again, not. Hold on. Mm,
And to fill this gap.
yeah,
Here.
I think it has more room to the downside, but we just gotta really need time with it. Get the
Yeah.
2-1.
Wait, I want to look at the 2-week. Mm-hmm. This does look like a pretty solid support right here, though. And so it
Yeah, it
just
needs to
needs to
break
break that.
support.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, then it's probably gonna go sideways for a little bit and then bounce.
Kind of like it did here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go sideways, maybe come in, and yeah, that's what it's kind of been doing. Sideways, and you're right
Right.
about that. It definitely was moving, a few weeks ago better. And then it started this thing of doing sideways, pop, down. Sideways, pop, down. So yeah.
Right.
So this the next real support is like right there. 130. Okay, so if it can break this support at 143-ish, it can go to 130.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Let's see, now that it's filled this gap. Oh, and it's not far away from the EMA, so like the 4 hour. Oh yeah, this looks great. So it can even be played to this support. And then if it breaks, it can go. Yep, I
All
like
right.
it.
And if it could cross, if the MACD could cross under the 0 line, that'd be even better on the 4 hour. And then it could take out at least 140 before a potential little bounce, and then might continue down more.
That sounds good. This looks, yeah, because it can't make a higher high. It's all lower highs. Sounds good. Alrighty. So Jamal said one of Key's favorites. McDonald's to the downside. Oh, we got an inside week. Oh, we got an inside week. Hold on. So let's look. Oh, we got a possible 1-2-2 rev strat on the quarter. And it's been stuck up here. So if it does, it's going to go for them and them. Let's look on the month. It's a solid support for it right here. But I like that inside week. So, it fell fast and hard, and then it gave that week of consolidation. So, and it's a doji, but it's a gravestone, meaning that it's more shooter-like. Bears are in control. So yes, can see this breaking to the downside. Nice actionable signal 212. Can take these folks out, then it can go for them. Super bearish on the week. We don't have any. Oh, there is a gap. here, it's about $1. Got our corrective activity. Good entry for this was Thursday. And yeah, so if anything, I don't know if we'd get any corrective activity there, but yeah, because we still have these folks to take out. Looking at the 4-hour, it may. Because the last time it gapped down, it did come back up to test it. So because it did the H already almost, I would wait for the next H. Or it could just not even H and just continue to the downside. So I like McDonald's. But on this homework list, I'll put the list in the chat. The monthly list is still in there. I leave it up there. So if I add anything to it, then you can see it when I add it. But yeah, that's still in there. But yeah, I like McDonald's to the downside. I know that's key stock right there. Look at it. Yeah, I like it. Does anybody have anything else they wanted me to look at?
Can you look at DraftKings?
Don't they have news? Somebody was buying them or something?
Yeah, somebody named Disney
Oh, that's right.
buying them.
Ah, okay.
They're
Okay.
pretty good.
Do you know anything about like the specifics of that deal or anything?
Well, right now, so I guess they're trying to, get a monopoly on the sports betting. So they already own ESPN. So
Right.
them joining forces with something like a DraftKings, combining that with ESPN would like really kind of corner that market, in my opinion, because it's kind of like the best of both worlds with those two platforms potentially combining. But everything right now is kind of just rumor.
Okay.
But that sector, the gaming sector, not video games, but like casinos, sports betting,
Like when?
really, really hot. So I was looking at DraftKings and what's the other one? Las Vegas Sands.
LBS, yes. Yes, that broke out. Really nice. It's 3-2 to the upside. I mean, it's really been beat down, so it's finally broke out of this little range right here. So it'd be nice to see if it continues. I know I was saying the same thing about when. Yeah, remove these. That also. So resorts are something to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah, I got the Caesars are like a resort betting casino type of thing.
I think so.
Yeah, 'cause that's going off too. I think that's going to go off.
That has more upside. If it can break this 8 on the week, that can definitely go. Because it's, made this lower low here. So nice to see. And I mean, I can see that from my eyes, the bottom of the Broadening Formation. So looks like it can definitely come up to the top of it. Start, doing that. Especially if they're going to start putting some money into that. So yeah, that's good. I really like, yeah, it was LBS. Yeah, I really like that. Give me 1 second, you guys. Right back. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so I guess that is it. Fi said he was not prepped from traveling. I know that's right. He's been enjoying his birthday month too. So I guess if that is everything, I will see you guys later. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. And I guess I'll see y'all. What'd you say, Keith?
I say you too. I can't wait for next week.
Me too. I think next week is gonna be good, especially after this week of us having our little corrective activity. Let's go.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
All right,
All
y'all.
right. Y'all, the rest of y'all weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay, so let's give a special segment to Brittany and AMD. So we're gonna look at AMD on the month, and when AMD started coming back in, I mentioned to the group that AMD didn't really have any real support until 56. Right now, news of AMD's surprise earnings worked in our favor. But something that I have done for weeks now is play AMD on Thursdays. AMD likes to make a good move on Thursday, as you can see. And sometimes it carries over until Friday. Here you can see it did nothing. But just look at the pattern of Thursdays. Even though it's a doji, it moved Thursday into Friday, and often it can be played either both ways or as a continuation. So in this particular case, it was a reversal. So on Wednesday night, I posted when we had this hammer here, looking at the downtrend that we have. And let's draw our broadening formation. Make it white. I have one here, so I'm just going to use this. Yeah, I like that. So looking at AMD on the day, you know that Thursdays are usually our days that we like to play it. We printed a hammer on Wednesday. Now, knowing where we are in the week, at this point, we were close to the 2 up on the week. So we were looking to see if we were going to continue to take these folks out and move up, continue to go, or if we were going to possibly reverse because we had the setup for an outside week by taking out last week's highs. And we did that on Tuesday. So that was our setup. So we knew we could either go that way or that way. And we react based on the strat. So on Thursday, it basically did a bunch of chop. It did not give us the nice Thursday move that it all normally does. But this shooter on the day was the sign and trigger for puts. And so Brittany and I swung puts, $65 puts. Now the analysis for this was that the 65.86 area was the trigger for the outside week, and we knew we could target the bottom of last week and then possibly the bottom of this broadening formation, keeping in mind that we did have a gap at 62 that we needed to fill on the daily. So the way that opened up, it just kept going. And yes, this was a hard entry, but if you knew that it gap down, we're in the middle of the broadening formation, and your target would be that gap fill and then possibly the bottom of it. As you know, Cyberdog was saying, you could have gotten in on the shooter and done it like that, or I'm pretty sure there was probably a 15-minute TTO. Yep, 15-minute TTO. 2 up, 2 down, back into all of that. So I would like to give a special congratulations to Brittany for her massive win in the Discord this week. This was absolutely amazing. It was very inspiring for everybody. And we love AMD Bay. All right, y'all. Peace.